Well, today I am very excited to share my favorite Instant Pot recipes with you because I know a lot of you have said you either have them but you don't have good recipes for it, or you have it and it's still in the box at home, or you haven't made the investment yet. So let's talk about what's so great about an Instant Pot anyways, as well as my 5 favorite weeknight recipes and what to do if you have picky eaters, because we had those in our house as well. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from The Minimal Mom, and like we talked about in the last video, I always felt like weeknight cooking was just a huge pain in the butt, and it was something that I dreaded each day. And so we're talking about ways that you can cook at home more for those of us who don't actually enjoy cooking at home more, right? And so in the last video, I gave a few tips, so you can definitely check that out as well. But today I want to talk all about the Instant Pot because I am not one to get into kitchen gadgets. I don't actually like to have big things taking up room in my cabinets, but this, I would make room for like 6 of these because it has been so awesome and how it's streamlined cooking. So here's how we'll tackle this today. First, I'll just share a few quick reasons why I think this thing is so awesome and why you might want to consider getting one for yourself. And then we'll jump right into 5 really simple recipes. They all use whole foods, and for our family, they're gluten and dairy free, but you could add those things back in. And so just so you know, those are the types of recipes that I'll be sharing today. My disclaimer, we are not vegan, we are not vegetarian, we don't eat everything organic, and so I'm not trying to say that these are the best foods or the healthiest foods or anything like that, but it is definitely healthier than us going to McDonald's or eating chicken nuggets and corn dogs every night. So I'm happy about that progress. So if you find your family in a similar place, then you might enjoy these recipes. If not, follow your own convictions, and we will definitely look forward to seeing you in the next video. Okay, so first, my favorite things about the Instant Pot are, 1, the mess is contained. When I cook a meal in here, everything can be cooked in here. I can saute the veggies, I can brown the meat, and then I throw everything in and cook it. And so when I'm done cooking an Instant Pot meal, I just have the pot to clean and my cutting board and my knives. So it is super simple to clean up. And then also in the summer, it doesn't heat up the whole kitchen like using the stove or the oven does. And it cooks quickly. It's, you know, a crock pot is a slow cooker and Instant Pot is an electric pressure cooker. It is a fast cooker. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in the recipes coming up. It's also proven that foods that you cook in the Instant Pot actually retain more flavor and more nutrients. So it's healthier to cook, especially vegetables, in the Instant Pot. And I think you'll notice that a lot of these recipes maintain a lot more of their flavor when they're cooked in here. And another great thing about it is that you literally can set it and forget it. When I make a soup or a stew or a casserole in here, I don't have to worry about stirring it. I don't have to worry about it scorching to the bottom. I don't have to worry about adjusting the heat. Once you have your recipes mastered, you just put it in here, you turn it on, and you don't do anything else until the timer code. Okay, so let's get into the recipes. So this first one is so awesome because you literally just cut everything up and throw it in. So it is a super easy recipe. So this is for those of you who still have it in the box or haven't actually used your Instant Pot yet. So it's a ham and potato soup. What's kind of cool about all these recipes is I noticed after I actually was putting the list together that they're all pretty much like whole foods. Now I know we won't always agree on the meats that we're gonna use, but you can swap things out. Follow your own convictions. So I get this ham steak from Aldi, of course, if you had leftover ham from making a ham, and then yellow potatoes. So you'll find that most Instant Pot recipes call for yellow potatoes. They're a little less starchy, I think. They hold up better in the Instant Pot. So I generally try to get these for Instant Pot recipes, but a lot of times I've used red or russet potatoes as well. And then some garlic. I have both minced garlic and garlic cloves, so depending on how much time I have, I'll either mince it myself or just use some of this. And then an onion. So I have a blog post with all of these recipes down below and ingredients, so don't worry like trying to write this all out. You can just visit there when we're done and find all of the ingredients. So here's what we do for this soup. We're just gonna chop up the ham into cubes and dice an onion, and I'm gonna saute that with some garlic in the bottom. So once you put that insert into your Instant Pot, simply hit the saute button. There are no levels or anything like that. So hit the saute button, put a little bit of butter or oil in the bottom, whatever you like to use to saute vegetables. So we're just gonna let those brown up a little bit, become translucent. And while that's cooking, I usually peel my potatoes and cut them up. Okay, so once the onions and garlic are done, you literally just add in the ham and the potatoes and 1 carton of chicken broth. And then we're gonna set it to manual for 12 minutes. put the lid on, and then turn the release valve to sealing. So probably the only thing that's actually intimidating about the Instant Pot is this release valve. At least that's how it was for me. It's kind of like a little bobble thing, and there's just two settings. There's sealing and venting. And so turn it to sealing when you're cooking. If you forget to do that, you'll know because a bunch of steam will be coming out of the top that shouldn't be. It'll never get up to pressure. That's how I know if I've forgotten to turn it to sealing, but now it's second nature. And then when the recipe is done, it'll either recall for a quick release, which just means to turn it to venting right away, or a slow release, which means don't do anything with it and just let it sit there. Okay, let's talk about the broccoli. So you can use fresh broccoli, you can use frozen broccoli that's already chopped. It depends how much time I have or how expensive broccoli is here in Minnesota when I'm making this recipe. So let's talk about picky eaters, because when I'm making this for my kids, if they saw anything green in any recipe I made, well, and Tom too, actually, they didn't want anything to do with it. And so here's what I've had to do. I had to ease them into it. So like a recipe like this, I would take just a little floret of broccoli, chop it up really small, put it in at the beginning. And so when I served it to them, they could see the broccoli coloring in it, the little, you know, the little round things, but it did not taste like anything because I didn't put enough in. And so slowly over time, I've just increased the amount of broccoli. I did this for the kale and spinach that we're gonna use for recipes as well. Now, as far as the texture of the vegetables, again, this goes for broccoli or spinach or kale, I prefer my vegetables a little bit firmer. If you put them in the beginning with the ham and the potatoes and all of that, then they're gonna get mushy in the Instant Pot, similar if you did it in a crock pot or even on the stove. So what I like to do is chop them up and just steam them for a couple minutes in the microwave and then add them in at the end. Now that my family can tolerate broccoli, I can do that. In the beginning, I would just put it in right away so it'd get mushy, it'd get mixed in, and they couldn't pick it out. And for those of you who are curious, yes, we make our kids eat their dinner. Whatever is served is what they're eating. They always have the option to go up to their bedroom until bedtime if they don't want to eat what they're serving, but that doesn't really ever happen anymore. Our youngest would literally gag. He would like throw up at the table if we gave him something that he didn't like. So we were tempted to just not give him vegetables anymore, right? But what we did was just give him little bits, and over time we've increased that, and now everyone can have veggies in their meals and it's not a big deal. So it was a little bit of a process, but I was to the point where I wasn't okay having such picky eaters in our house anymore, so I decided to tackle it. If you're not there right now, that's fine. Put whatever you want in your soups. And there you have it, our ham and potato soup. Like I said, we are dairy free, so I don't add the cream or cheddar cheese in, but if you want to add in some cream or some cheddar cheese, this also makes a really great, you could do like loaded potato soup. You could add some bacon bits and some sour cream on top. I like to use green onions sometimes instead of the other onions, just depending on what we have, and to change up the flavor a little bit. Instant Pot Zuppa Toscana soup. So a lot of similar, you're gonna notice a lot of similar ingredients here, and that's probably the one criticism of Instant Pot cooking, is that everything starts to taste the same because it has chicken broth and onion and garlic in it. But again, as you get comfortable with the recipes, these are just meant to get you comfortable with your Instant Pot and cooking in it. Then you can get more creative and definitely try other recipes. So for this recipe, we need some potatoes. Again, I'm using the yellow ones, and onion, some minced garlic, some pork sausage. I like Italian, or if you're feeling like spicy, definitely get the spicy pork sausage, and then the chicken broth, and then chopped kale. So I like to get this bag from Aldi because it's all washed and chopped and ready to go. But of course, use whatever fits into your budget or your preference. So we're just gonna saute the sausage in the bottom of the Instant Pot until it is browned. And then to drain it, I just dump it out on a plate with some paper towels or napkins on it. And then once I take the meat out, then I just saute the onion and the garlic quick. It only takes a minute. This sautés really well. But while those two things are browning, then I'll peel the potatoes and chop those up. So once the garlic and onion are done, then I just dump in the chicken broth, put the meat back in, and put in the potatoes, add my seasonings, and voila. This is another one where we have taken the dairy out. So the recipe actually calls for cream to be added in. So, you know, your family's choice whether you want to add that in. Okay, so as long as we're on the soup kick, then let's get to one other soup, and then we're gonna go to a beef and a chicken recipe that are different. Okay, so this one's gonna be similar, but then the next two are different. So this is a sweet potato and sausage soup. Now, again, my family did not necessarily like sweet, nobody in my family likes sweet potatoes. I love sweet potatoes, but no one else likes sweet potatoes. So what I did was, once they were cooked in there, I used a fork and I just kind of mashed them against the side of the Instant Pot. What this does is it actually makes it look like shredded cheese in the Instant Pot. I don't know, it's kind of funny how it works out. But I noticed it wasn't that they necessarily minded the flavor of the sweet potatoes, it was just knowing there were sweet potatoes in there. So again, this could be a recipe where you just start out putting a little bit in at a time, and then from there work your way up to more. Done? Okay, let's also talk about a beef stew. I don't have the ingredients for this on hand, but it's definitely something that we make really frequently. Now, I know you could also make this like in a Dutch oven, but what I really like about making it in the Instant Pot is that it helps you to become more familiar with your Instant Pot. I do think the flavors are just a little bit stronger. It's definitely quicker. I mean, I know when I used to make it in the oven, it would be 3 to 4 hours. And every time I've made it in the Instant Pot, the carrots are cooked all the way through. It's always those carrots, right? That don't like to cook all the way through. So I can make stew on a weeknight in my Instant Pot, where in the past it was reserved for the weekends because it took a long time. So I'll put my recipe down below in that blog post as well. Okay, so now if you're like totally souped out, you're like, no more soups, I have a chicken and rice hot dish that is so fast and easy. I think you're really gonna like it. So what do we need for this one? We need chicken, we need rice, onion and garlic, again, chicken broth. I've noticed you can try, you know, different chicken broths. This one's from Aldi. The chicken broth that I think has the most flavor is actually the organic store brand at Walmart. But if you don't have chicken broth, you can just substitute water. But when we're making this chicken and rice, I've definitely noticed you do want to use chicken broth because it does add a lot of flavor. So we are just gonna dice up some chicken. With this one, I like to just saute the chicken with the onion and the garlic. I don't know, I'm not a food blogger if you haven't noticed, so some of you might say that's not right, or I know different ways we cut and mince and saute and all that can change the flavors of foods, but again, these are just my quick weeknight amateur meals, so definitely use your own talents. But then we're just gonna dump in the chicken broth and then the rice, add in the seasonings and turn it on and let it go. Again, this one calls for cheddar cheese. Our family, I've made it with cheese and they don't even like it. I love cheese in anything, right? So what I generally don't make it with the cheese, and then I just add it into anyone that wants it into our bowl. It's plenty hot enough when it comes out to mix it in and have it get all melted. Okay, so I hope you found this helpful. Like I said, there will be a link below with all of the recipes. I have a couple other favorite recipes from some Instant Pot cookbooks that I've gotten, but I don't obviously want to share those because they're not my recipes to share. So in the blog post, I will have the recipe books that I really like along with the names of the recipes. So if you do happen to get one of those books, you can check out those recipes. I would highly recommend getting a recipe book because I don't know how it is for you, but searching Pinterest gets a little bit overwhelming, and sometimes just having an old-fashioned cookbook has worked out really well for me. So like I said, I'll link those down below along with the Instant Pot that we have. It's a great thing to ask for a birthday, Mother's Day, Christmas. I would also love to know, what are your favorite recipes? So if you want to leave it in the comments, I'll try and compile those and add them to the blog post as well, so that we can just have a really good list of Instant Pot recipes for all of those of you who say I don't have any recipes for Instant Pot. But thank you so much for watching. A thumbs up is the best compliment that you can give us, and I hope you subscribe so that you're notified when new videos are released, and we will look forward to visiting with you again really soon. Did you help me get the potatoes? How many potatoes did you get? Can you tell them? And how old are you?